Hey guys, Weep here. Welcome back to another video by Variety MMOs. Today's video is going to be Beginner's Guide to PvP Introduction for Dual Universe. So this video is going to cover some of the very broad basics of Dual Universe, for example, where the safe zone is, expectations of new PvP zones, a little bit about shields, and just overarching information to give you an idea of whether or not you would like to PvP in Dual Universe. This is going to be the first video of a long series. I believe it's going to be 10 to 15 videos in which we are going to cover every aspect of PvP. If you watch these videos from top to bottom, you will be better than the average PvPer right now in Dual Universe, as there is much information contained that most people either do not know or do not use. So let's get straight into it, shall we? So as you can see here, we have a bunch of ships all dead. So this is kind of like, our evidence that we have done plenty of PvP in Dual Universe. Unfortunately, they don't want to all show up right now, but believe me, they are down there. So the Dual Universe's current PvP zones is everywhere outside this blue circle. So basically think everything inside this blue circle, including the planets and moons, it's all safe permanently. Now, outside of this blue circle, so all of here, this is all PvP space. This is all, you die, you're dead. So keep in mind, however, for the foreseeable future, these planets out here are still safe, because this would be considered atmospheric PvP, and atmospheric PvP has not yet arrived in the game. So when atmospheric PvP does arrive, all of these planets and all of this space will be PvPable. Keep in mind that the kind of PvP that you would expect with atmospheric PvP is attacking tiles. So as you can see, people own tiles, and you would go in there, attack the tile, take it over, and take whatever they have, etc, etc. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the Dual Universe PvP shooting system. Unfortunately, it does look a little bland at first. So many people see this and initially think that the PvP isn't very interesting, which is far from the truth. It is kind of like watching somebody play a fighter game and just telling a professional that they just mash buttons to win, which, as you can assume, is simply false. So let's go into the gunner tutorial and show you the very basics of the gunner screen and talk a little bit about it. I'm going to keep this really basic as it is just an introduction, but I really do want to stress the fact that this is the absolute bare bones minimum in PvP and Dual Universe, and then when you actually get out there in PvP, there is so much more to it, just so much more PvP knowledge and mechanics than you're going to see here. So the very basics that most people just see and assume is the truth is you get in the chair, you target an enemy, you have your gun over here, you have identified targets down here. So when you've locked onto your target, you basically just click on the target and hit shoot. That's what most people think that the game is, but it is far from the truth. When you get better scripts and whatnot, you can do it from third person, so you can fly around and shoot at the same time by right-clicking on targets and stuff like that, which really adds a much more dynamic to the shooting in Dual Universe, but we will definitely talk more about that in another video. So one of the most important things to PvP that you should know straight away is that Dual Universe works on a cross-section. Let's go and have a look at that. So, shields. Shields are a relatively new addition to Dual Universe and has really shaken up the meta to be quite interesting. So the shield has quite a few mechanics attached to it. So first up, you'll see the blue shield around the ship. So this blue shield, when you're on PvP and you're looking at it, and it's taking damage, the shield will get harder to see. So when it starts to vanish, you'll get an idea that the enemy shield is starting to run out. That's the very basics. So let's go and have a look at what the shield can actually do. So bear in mind that there is different shields with different stats, etc., like different sizes. Let's go and have a look at an L shield. So as you can see here, this is an L shield. Now what are we looking at? The L shield has resistances that you can set on the fly, so you can do it with lure, so automated, or you can do it manually in battle. So what you can do is you can change ammos and change shield resistances in battle to gain an advantage over an enemy. And you could also vent. So what venting does is it turns off the shield and it vents. So it regains a percentage of the shield. I believe the L shield gets back like 40% of its HP. However, it does bring your shield down for up to like 30 seconds. So you are taking damage in the meantime. Before I talk about CSS, I would like to note that shields block all CSS damage and all physical damage while the shields are up. Nothing will get through those shields while they are still active. Okay, so now that we've talked about shields, let's talk about the multiple ways to die in PvP. Okay, so let's talk about the 2 ways that you can die in PvP. So the first way to die in PvP would be complete and total destruction. For all intents and purposes, this core is your control center on your ship. If this blows up, you are done. What'll happen is once it's exposed and starts taking damage from bullets, it'll blow up, your entire ship dies, game over, lost everything. Now the second way is CSS. This is relatively new. Core stress refers to a second HP pool. So imagine your first HP pool as how many elements and how much voxels you can stick around your core before I physically touch it and blow it up. Your second HP pool is based on how many voxels, what type they are, and generally the higher tier the better on the ship. So let's say, for example, let's say you have 1000 T5 voxels, you'll have 1 million HP. Let's say you have 10,000 T5 voxels, you have 10 million HP. If the second HP goes down while your shield is down, even if this core is never exposed, your ship will instantly blow up. So what this means is that if you build some big cube full of voxels and you try to hide your core inside, once your stress gets reached, which there is a maximum limit with diminishing returns, you can't just build a big cube. Once that's reached, your ship will just blow up. So no more mega ships that are simply unkillable. So that's the 2 ways that you can currently die in PvP. Let's go and have a look at the radars. So the final thing that I would like to touch on in this introduction video is the radar range. So the radar range sees up to a maximum of 2 SU. Now, if you haven't played LD or relatively new, you're probably thinking, well, what's 2 SU? So if you open up your menu, you can see in here, the maximum I can see is up to 2 SU. And you scroll up, it'll show it's the closest. Now, if we go back out and look around, you'll see that some of them are relatively close, but some of them are really far away. To put a little bit of context on this, let's open up the map. I'll go to system map. So from Alioth, which is essentially the center of the universe, to this planet over here, which is Jago, that is, I think it's like 480 SU, which takes 3 to 4 hours to fly it if you don't warp, which will take instantly. But that takes hours to fly just from one planet to another if you do it the slow way. So just imagine how hard it is to find somebody on a 2 SU radar in the middle of space when there's basically 500 SU between these 2 planets. Space is enormous. And your radar range, not so much. So usually you want to use multiple ships to find other people. So right now you're not going to find people in random spaces. You're just going to go and find them like asteroids and stuff like that when it comes to PvP. The last thing I want to stress is if you die in PvP, you lose everything. There is no insurance, there is no help, no mechanics. Your items are gone, your ship is gone, gone is gone. No point complaining, and Q will not give your items back. If you go into the PvP zone, you accept that you are risking everything that you would take out with you. It's really important that people understand this. Okay, so that ends the introduction video. The next video will be the second video of the video series in which we, I believe, are going to talk about guns. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.